Okay, here is a quick tutorial on how to edit a blog. So when you add a blog, you have all of this default content. And there's a couple quick things that you can see. So on the left-hand side, we have the back end. You can see that demo content is right here. And then on the right side, same as all Squarespace sites, is kind of like the preview and what it looks like. Now, a couple big things to note is you can actually remove the date or just hide it, which is really helpful if you have like sort of evergreen content that's not dependent on a date. The way that you would do that is you would go here into edit section, and then you'll start to see a few different things that you can change out. The biggest ones are excerpt, read more, and then down here you'll see the metadata. So the date is considered metadata. In this case, we have it displaying, but we can select none here and then sort of spare you from having to update old blog posts, things like that. So if you do have them categorized, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, then your categories will display. Currently this is set to on. Of course you can turn that off as well. Right now there's no categories for these posts, so you are good. This is the excerpt right here. And so if you wanted to show that or not show it, you would just select hide. I kind of like having it on, it just gives people a nice preview, so we'll keep that here. If you did want to change the layout for any reason, you could. Right now we've got this basic grid blog, which shows up really nicely on mobile, but if you wanted to change that up, you certainly could. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this without the date, since that's kind of a best practice. I'm going to hit exit. And then here we have the posts themselves. Now whenever you're ready to actually add full content, you just highlight all of these, hit delete, and you're good to go. What I recommend, however, is keeping one, just so you can kind of understand the format. So here, for example, I'm going to click on blog post 1. You can see here it's uploaded. Now if I go into edit, I can change up the title just by typing in, and the actual content here. Now by default, whoever is logged in, it'll show their profile. This is really good if you have multiple editors, but not so good if it's just you and you don't really want to show that. So totally up to you if you want to keep that or not. But if you edit section here inside the blog post, this is where you can actually change these sort of little things up. So we can take the date off here as well if we want to. We can show the author name or not just by selecting that. Show author profile, which is this piece right here. I'll turn that off. And so this is really good if it's run by an organization that maybe doesn't have the contributors on there. But if you do have contributors, then it's a really good idea to actually keep this on so that people can follow that person, and it kind of gives a little bit more credibility to show who has actually been posting on behalf of this page. So a nice little feature there. Now, if you are actually editing the excerpt, the way that you would do that, so like a little preview of this, the way that you would do that is you would go here, hit settings, and then here's where you would add a featured image as well as the excerpt. You can see that demo data is right here. Now, a really good SEO tip is to actually update the post URL. So you can see this is kind of just like a random generated one. But if this post was for a specific article, I'd want to actually update the post URL to reflect the title of that article. And you want to use little dashes in between. So for example, that's how I would do something like that. And this will significantly improve SEO. The rest is a bit extra, a little bit advanced, so you don't have to worry about it too much, but at least these things that I would recommend you at least start with for all of your posts. Now, if you do want to categorize things, you would just go to this options tab here, and then you can select categories. This is really good if you have lots of various topics or types of things. So if you have like an event announcement that you want to make, you can do that here versus like a workshop or a specific, thought leadership piece or press article, something like that. If you wanted to add categories there, you certainly could do that as well. What you could also do, which is really convenient, is change the social image. So the social image is like what will show up in Facebook or LinkedIn. It'll just sort of preview here. Now, by default, it'll always be this, unless you add that social image and make that a dedicated social image there. those are the basics of updating the blog on Squarespace. This is a really powerful feature, so you can really take it to the moon, but as long as you have these basics down, these fundamentals, then you should be good to go.